It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
This episode of Sports90 is brought to you in part by Tim Hortons, New York City, simply the best coffee in New York. Now with 8 locations in the city to serve all your coffee, bakery, and snack needs. Tim Hortons, always fresh. And by Netflix. Why not stay home tonight with Netflix? Find out more at www.netflix.com. Also by Procast Global.
Powered by Procast.
The automated and intelligent project facilitation solution.
I want to start off today's program. We're sitting at December 16th. Now, before I do anything else, I have to own my Cleveland Browns smack talk. I have to own my Johnny Cleveland smack talk. Talking about eating crow. I mean, I don't know how to begin this. I was all about get rid of Hoyer. The Battle of Ohio. Cleveland Browns looking at a solid chance to win the division. All they got to do is knock off the Bengals, who they already beat down with Hoyer. Expecting a lot of rushing, expecting to see a lot of West, expecting to see a whole big bunch of short passing from Menzel, nothing fancy, and a defense that's going to absolutely get up there in the face of Dalton like they have the entire season and play the pass. So what does Cincinnati do? They come to Cleveland, and I hate to say this. I'm on every single Twitter comment, and I see Sam Weish. I'm telling people how I love Fox for putting this iconic game to be on their premier channel, AFC North Battle of Ohio. Couldn't ask for more. Rookie quarterback sensation, first-round draft pick getting thrown into the mix, can be the hero of the Cleveland Browns. Now I'm hiding in my pumpkin. I've eaten so much crow. The Browns' defense looked like, I don't know, Shirley Temple went blind defense. The Bengals come out running the ball like the Browns have never heard of a defense against the rush. The only player worth a damn the entire game is Joe Hayden, and he gets hurt. Just an ugly scenario. I'm eating crow, and I'm not talking about Crowell because he was insignificant in the game too. And what I hate to see more than anything else is Sam Weish over and over and over again, the ex-coach of the Bengals 400 years ago, telling people in Cincinnati that this isn't Cleveland, don't throw snowballs. I'm hiding. I can't even eat my dog biscuits today. I don't even want to see a pumpkin. I've banned the color orange from my living room. This is insane. Johnny Coma, what the hell? What was that? And whatever you do, you know the national TV is going to be focusing the camera on you after all the cocky crap in Vegas. Good Lord, son, go to church. You got a chance to be a spoiler. I'll tell you what. I have this horrible music from Heidi playing in the back of my head, going through every single starting quarterback the Browns have had, going back to Couch. Remember Tim Couch? Yeah. Going back a decade, and this merry-go-round of insignificance is playing in my head. Make no mistake, I am a loyal Cleveland Browns fan, but that was not what the Cleveland Browns fans needed. And then the idiot wearing the T-shirt giving his political views about how he can't stand Cleveland cops or the Browns. The highlight of the game is the kids in the dog pound pushing back the running back, trying to do a Lambeau leap into the... Are you kidding me, Bengals? Trying to do a Lambeau leap in the dog pound. High five to the kid that shoved you back. You're in the wrong stadium. You want to do a Lambeau leap, go to Green Bay. Give me a break. What was this? I couldn't have been more let down. No more Johnny Cleveland. No more Johnny football. This is Johnny Coma until I see different. The kid failed. It was horrible. And I retract my comments. You need to throw him in. He wasn't up to it. Hoyer had to be sitting there on the bench containing his laughter going, God, I could suck like this and get paid a lot less. Get me out of here. The kids had all season to learn the plays. I got news. If you're not 6'5" or 6'6" and weigh 250 pounds, do not run the ball head first if you're a quarterback in the NFL, or you will learn what not for long means. Okay. Now I gotta pay off my friendly bet with my Bengals pals. Yeah, I got Bengals pals. I don't want to get into it. This is terrible. Have to eat that horrible hot dog stuff with spaghetti on it. I could have been eating ribs like normal people, but no. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Learn the plays. Play spoiler. I want to see some. I want to believe you're the guy next year. Right now, I'm thinking, man, Hoyer, hold on, buddy. We got some apologies and a new contract. And the defense, what was that? I know there's more NFL games, but come on. Anyway, I have to pay off my bet, so I have to play this stinking song that I hope to never play again. Consider yourself paid, Bengals fans.
I'm used to seeing weed and getting sad. I'd cut him if I wasn't just a drunk in the muni. No, I'm not proud of my quarterback. In a football town, no trophy envy. But every throw is like, oh shit, hell no, what were you thinking? Get rid of the ball before you take a beating. We don't care. Just give it to someone on our team. And even shot is like Jason Campbell. I guess you can start this week. Hoyer's out, no pressure, but seriously, we don't care. The Browns always have next year, and we'll always be loyal. Brown and orange run in our blood. A winning season just ain't for us. At least the defense doesn't suck. I got beers in my cooler. Yeah, that's all I need. And maybe I'll drew. Passed out by quarter 3.
I don't want to ever play that again. Oh, go Cavs anyway. What else happened in the NFL? Let's take a look. Let's break it down, Sports90 style. You know, so many games didn't go how I thought they would, but you know what? That's what happens. Let's go down the entire Week 15. Arizona beat the Rams 12-6. Hill, 229 yards passing. Bailey, 74 yards receiving. On Sunday, Baltimore held off Jacksonville. It was close for a while. Flacco, 221. Gerhardt, and they're thinking about keeping him, by the way. Talking about the Jags, 54 yards short, 76 for the Jaguars. Cincinnati 30, Cleveland 0. Moving along. Pittsburgh 27, they hold off the Dirty Birds. Rothenberger, Big Ben, 360 yards. Bell, only 47 yards rushing. Who cares? Douglas had 131 catching. Giants hold off the Skins. Manning, 250. Beckman Jr., 143 yards receiving. The Pats, no problem with the Finns. Tannehill did throw for 346 yards, and Wallace caught 104. KC all over Oakland. It looks like they're going to get that number 1 draft pick after all. Smith, 297, tossing the ball. Holmes, Davis, 70 each. Indianapolis, all about the luck. Houston, not enough luck, only 187, more than enough. Foster running 99 yards. Hopkins, 77. Buffalo upsetting Green Bay, keeping their wild card hopes alive. Rodgers, 185, looked horrible. Lacey ran for 97 for the Cheeseheads. Cobb, 96 receiving. Carolina without Cam. Without Cam, thank God, they still won. Tampa Bay, and they're still in this. This is ridiculous. 19-17. Anderson managed to throw for 277. Maybe come back to the Browns. Olsen, 110 yards receiving. Jets beat Tennessee. Nobody cares. Denver, 22-10 over San Diego. Manning, the older one. 233. Anderson, 85 yards rushing. Thomas, 123 in the receiving end. Detroit, the Lions held off the Vikes. Bridgewater threw for 315, not enough. Bell ran for 62. Johnson, 72 receiving. Seattle holding off a pathetic 49ers team. Wilson, no problem, 168, enough to win the game. Lynch ran for 91. He's a monster. Kurtz, 78 catching. Dallas, Philadelphia. Boy, did I get this wrong. Romo, 265. Murray, 81 in rushing, and Des Bryant, bling, 114 receiving. They destroy Philadelphia, 38-27 in the city of brotherly love and the Depression Bowl. New Orleans wins. It's all about Drew Brees. The Bears, no good. Brees, 375 yards passing. Forte did run for 78, and Graham, 87. Let's take a look at what's coming up next week, because it's all about the playoffs.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
After my last week's picks, I'm a little gun-shy of giving you my picks this week, but I'll try to hang in there. Hey, no one's perfect. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Now, this could be ugly. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win it. By the way, this is a Thursday game on the NFL channel. I'm taking the Jaguars at home. Why not? Tennessee's just horrible. Philadelphia and Washington. We got 2 Saturday games, people. They're calling them Thursday night specials. Don't ask me. One's on the NFL channel. We got Philly at Washington. Normally a good game. Not this time. Philly, they recover from that Dallas loss. San Diego at 49ers. I think San Diego wins this one. It's on CBS. All the people without cable and the NFL channel can watch it. Sunday's games. Cleveland at Carolina. I'm not picking this game. I refuse. Vikings at Miami. Finns revenge that loss. They're going to take care of the Vikings. Bridgewater, watch out, the guy can throw. Baltimore at Houston. Houston has a chance to be a spoiler in a way for Baltimore. We're going to take a look at the standings. Detroit at Chicago, easy win for the Lions. Atlanta at New Orleans. I expect Drew Brees all over the place. They'll win that game. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Cheeseheads, they got to win that game. They're looking for that number 1 seed. Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Rusty Curtin, the Big Ben can throw. Steelers win this game. Pats at Jets. Come on, give me a break. Goodbye, Rex. New York Giants at Rams. Rams win this game. Up and down team, good at home. Buffalo at Oakland. Really? Buffalo, you're getting in the playoffs. Goodbye, Oakland. Indianapolis at Dallas. Best game of the week, possibly, next to the Seattle-Arizona game. We'll see. I think Dallas wins this game. Seattle, defending Super Bowl champions, got that 10 wins at Arizona. Guess what? Arizona wins this game. Denver, Cincinnati, 2 lock division winners. Denver at Cincinnati. I got to take Manning. Sorry, Bungles. It's not the Browns this time. Let's take a look at the current standings. Figure this out. Playoff time. NFC East, you got Dallas on top now, 10-4 after beating Philadelphia. Sitting at 9-5. Giants, their season's over. In the NFC North, Detroit in a deadlock with the Cheeseheads after losing. Not Detroit, I'm talking about Buffalo beating down the Packers. Both sitting at 10-4. Minnesota, Chicago, maybe next year. All right, here's an ugly one. We got 5-9. Atlanta, 5-8-1. Carolina and New Orleans at 6 and 8 in the NFC South. Wasted playoff spot. I know teams get hot, whatever. Arizona, they own their division. It's all over. Seattle looking for that wild card spot. 11 and 10 or 11 and 3 for Arizona. Seattle at 10 and 4. Now they still have a shot actually at the division, but Arizona's in. They're guaranteed. Pats do own their division, the AFC East over in the AFC, obviously. 11 and 3. Buffalo looking for that wild card spot. Miami, sort of still in it. Cincinnati, they own their division at 9 and 4 and 1. I don't care. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland's out of it. Indianapolis, they got their Z, and of course that means they own their division at 10 and 4. Houston still trying to get that wild card spot, and we have Denver sitting at 11-3, way on top now of Kansas City and San Diego, both at 8 and 6 each. Now, what about the playoffs? Playoff standings as they stand right now, before the very next game's played on Thursday. In the National Football Conference, number 1 seed right now is Arizona, guaranteed a playoff spot. Number 2 is Detroit. Number 3 are the Cowboys. Number 4, this is ugly, at 6 and 8 is New Orleans because of the division winner. Number 5, Seattle. Number 6, Green Bay. Philly is on the outside looking in, as is the 49ers. Forget you, Minnesota. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. Over in the American Football Conference, right now guaranteed in, the Pats 11-3, number 1 spot. They're tied, but they get the division breaker right now, the tiebreaker with Denver, who's sitting at 2 at 11 and 3. Indianapolis at 10 and 4. They got their Z. Cincinnati probably going to win their division at 9-4 and 1. Pittsburgh's in. Baltimore's in. I told you 3 would come out of the AFC North. KC's in the bubble, outside looking in, as well as San Diego, Buffalo, Houston, and Miami. My Browns, come on, 7-7. You're not getting in. I'm talking about having some kind of epic math Ebola for that to happen. So that's your playoff standings as they stand before Thursday's games. All right, if I had to get pinned down and guess right now how this is going to finish up. All right, obviously, Arizona is going to be in. Lions are going to be in. Dallas is in. New Orleans wins their division, they're in. That leaves 2 spots, all right? And the fight's going to be between Seattle, Green Bay, Philadelphia. Forget San Francisco. They're out at 7-7. All right, so we got these 3 teams. I truly believe, with 9 and 5, Philly's getting in there. Philly, somehow, some way, they're getting in there. And they have to end up beating out Seattle or Green Bay. That's just the way it's going to work. I think Philly sneaks in there, and if I had to choose, I'd say Green Bay falls out. Sorry, Packers. And the AFC, now this is a tough one because Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati are all at 9 wins. Cincinnati's got that one damn tie, and, of course, the beatdown of Cleveland. There could be some spoiler games coming up. Cleveland still plays some AFC North games. KC, I don't see him getting in there. So I pretty much think it's locked like it is. Buffalo, however, if Cleveland knocks off Baltimore, off Baltimore, and Buffalo can finish, if they can clear the last couple games, I think Buffalo, and this is just me guessing, I believe Buffalo jumps over Baltimore. And I think this can happen, especially after watching Baltimore having problems with Jacksonville. Buffalo gets in, Baltimore drops out, so it ended up being New England, Denver, Indy, Cincy, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. Yep, Buffalo. Hey, man, it's been a while since Jim Kelly played there and all those losses, remember? Oh, I don't want to remember him either. But that's what I think as it stands now. I'm going to flip-flop. You know it.
Don't go away. Sports 90 with Guy Shea will be back after these messages.
Great game, right? So you're probably expecting me to crash a car or blow something up. But really, I'm here to talk about car safety. Look around you. Who do you see? Friends, family, neighbors, all your loved ones, everyone you care about. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to give each and every one of them a hug. I'll wait. Thank you. Those people you just hugged, they're real. They're not crash test dummies. They're not engineering data. And their safety matters as much to Honda as it matters to you. And it's why Honda builds more top safety-rated cars in America than any other brand. You can let go now, Fred. That's a great hug.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hi. I've got to get a stick for my nephew. Do you know anything about hockey?
Yeah, a little.
Good, because he's really particular.
I like this one.
Crosby. Is he any good?
Not bad.
Do you have any other suggestions?
Sidney Crosby and Sport Check. What a team.
At Sports Authority, we have all the name brands you love, like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, and the North Face. We carry fitness equipment, camping, bikes, golf, and more. We offer a rewards program, The League, which earns you 5% back. And we'll match prices with our ad price match promise. So why do we do it? Because we love sports just as much as you do. All the best brands, all the best value. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
Welcome back to Sports 90 with Guy Shea on HTLA Radio 2.
Welcome back. Of course, you're with your sports bandit. I feel like a maniac. I don't know the appropriate underlying bed music for this particular segment, but we're going to drudge our way through it. I can't talk about Johnny Coma no more. We got to get into this bowl thing. Now, yeah, we still got a little time before it all kicks off, but listen to me. And I do mean listen. This entire bowl thing, I mean, this is going to take like an hour. Now, it's not going to take that long because I don't have another hour. Well, maybe I do have an hour, but I'm not going to spend it on this bowl, on the bowl deal. Obviously, everybody wants to jump right to the playoffs, but there are some good bowl games, and without saying this with a straight face, there are some bowl games that are just toilet bowls. I mean, just garbage. I mean, what the hell? Seriously. So I think the appropriate underlying music might be carnival music for some of the beginning bowl games. It all kicks off on the 20th. Yep, only 4 days away, and this year's bowl Walk of Tears. Some of these are soul-crushing, but I'm gonna share them with you because, hey, these kids deserve also some attention. Let's go to, and I got to give the name of the actual balls. Remember how it used to be orange ball, rose ball? Well, no. Now you have to have some kind of, I don't know, tampon ball, Pop-Tarts ball, whatever. R&L Carriers, New Orleans Bowl. We got a 7-5 Nevada kicking off versus a Louisiana Lafayette, 7-5 versus 8-4. Now you're saying, oh, am I going to watch this? Well, of course you are, because you're a football maniac like I am. 11 o'clock, yep, that's East Coast time in the morning, not even lunchtime, people. On December 20th, of course, on ESPN. Where else would you find this bowl game? Seriously, maybe on some obscure radio station in Iowa. Who knows? Let's take a look at it just because, why not? These two teams, oh, there's not much to say. I mean, when you look at the quarterbacks, we got 18 touchdowns by, I can't even pronounce this guy name, Fabio, whatever. 2,000 yards passed, and we'll give him that. 18 touchdowns. Going to be a rushing game because the guy runs the ball. He has 13 touchdowns. Talking about the QB. Louisiana Lafayette Broadway, love the name. 12 touchdowns. McGuire, another rushing team, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. Am I going to give my picks for this? Are you kidding me? I'm going to give my picks next week, more appropriately. Well, actually, I have to give them for this game, don't I? You don't care. Maybe I'll give them, maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a short break, and I'll just make up some picks for some of these games. Moving right along, here's the Glydian, dummy, New Mexico Bowl. Guess who's playing in this one? Utah State at 9-4. University of Texas El Paso 7-5. You don't want to miss this one, right? What's going on with the conversation? Well, who cares? December 20th, also 2:20 p.m. Looks like ESPN's just absolutely making the extra money on these games. We got Garriston. He passed for 8 touchdowns. Makes me want to go to sleep. I'm looking down at the rushing. Hunt, only 1 touchdown. Looks like if Sharp doesn't catch the ball, they don't score. University of Texas El Paso Showers. Don't hit them. 12 touchdowns. Jones, 11 on the rushing end. And Hamilton, oh, God, only 2 touchdowns. Yep, that's a snoozer. Anyway, continuing on. Hey, look, I said I got to share some of these. Don't expect much. Now, here's a team I like. And they've played some good games, and it's actually 2 good teams. Just maybe their strength of schedule screws them out of any kind of realistic down-the-road bowl games, at least ones you've heard of. Let's take a look. Talking about number 22 in the country, Utah, at 8-4. Played some big games, and they're playing 10-2 Colorado State. This is a good game to watch. I like this one. Also, if you're going to watch anything on the 20th, this one's on ABC. Sorry, ESPN. 3:30 p.m. Let's take a look at what we're looking at, what we can expect in this particular game. Now, first of all, let's take a look at who Utah played. They're ranked number 22 in the country. I like this team. They played some big games. Not necessarily mega games, but they did beat Michigan. This year, you say, yeah, well, who cares? They beat them 26-10, and they beat them at Michigan. That makes me happy as a Buckeyes fan. They did beat, at the time, number 8, UCLA. They beat them by 2 points back on the October 4th, of course, Saturday. They beat Oregon State. They also beat number 20, USC. They did lose to a number 14, Arizona State, and they got beat up by the Ducks at the time back in November on the 8th. They beat Stanford in double overtime, 20-17, and if they could only have got past number 15, Arizona, they might have moved on. Anyway, this team, middle of the road with their passing yards, rushing yards, etc. This is a team to watch out for. This is a good game to watch. I mean, of the selections you have at least on December 20th, the first inaugural day of this year's Bowl Trail of Tears game. All right, now, the good thing about, and I'm talking about Colorado State, is their passing yards. They rank 8th overall in the country. They're averaging 326.3 yards passing. Yep, they're up there. But who did they play? Well, they lost to Boise State. I'm looking down. I see a Nevada win, a Utah State win, a Wyoming win, San Jose, Hawaii. Who doesn't beat Hawaii? And they lost to Air Force. So I'm telling you on this one, before I even get into the picks, that expect this 10-2 team, Colorado State, to get a major ass-whooping by Utah. That's why Utah's ranked and Colorado State isn't. It is that simple. They're playing a real team. And you got to watch out for Utah. I just wish they had a little bit better strength of schedule, and if they could have won another 2 games, well, who knows? Maybe they would have been in the mix. Air Force, a good team. Western Michigan, also a good team in their division. This is also on the 20th, people. ESPN. I know, it's driving you nuts. I don't know how many games are on the 20th, but it just keeps going on. Let's take a look at what's going on with this. Western Michigan, 8-4. Air Force, 9-3. Who did they play? Do you really care? No. So let's take a look at what we can expect from the quarterback, running back, all the skill positions. Well, in passing, Terrell for Western Michigan. He leads, obviously, the team. 23 touchdowns. He can run the ball. And their running back, it looks like Franklin, also 24 TDs, 1,500 yards. Receiver Davis. This team's loaded, Western Michigan. Watch out, Air Force. Air Force, you can expect a little bit of passing, a little bit of rushing, and a whole lot of hoping at 9-3. Western Michigan's a tough team. I don't think Air Force has a chance in this game. We'll go over our picks. I got to write this down in case I don't want to end up looking like a chump at the end of this. Also, on December 20th, rounding out the 5-game beginning to this year's bowl series, and also on ESPN, of course, South Alabama. All right. Oh, by the way, the last one was the famous Idaho Potato Bowl with Western Michigan and Air Force. It said, I'm reading it, famous. Raycon Media Camellia, not Chlamydia Bowl, and this is on ESPN. South Alabama, 6-6 team playing Bowling Green, 7-6. Sounds like a sleeper. Well, might just be that. Let's take a look at what can we expect. Oh God, Bridge. I'm sorry, kid. South Alabama, I didn't know they had a college. 14 touchdowns. Their running back doesn't score. He's only got 652, 1 TD. Smith, he catches the ball on occasion, 714. Isn't that a quaalude? I'm not trying to be facetious. All right, let's jump over to Bowling Green. The guy can pass. They can run the ball. Green does everything for the team, almost 1,000 yards rushing. They have a receiving core. Also, their top receiver, Lewis, 5 touchdowns, 7-6. I don't know if you want to watch this one or not. It's on you. You might be a maniac and just say, I got to watch another football game on the 20th. I'm not quite in a coma yet. All right, moving along. We got a day break. Then we're jumping to a bowl game you heard of with teams that are playing each other that you also heard of, and I'm talking about December 22nd, 2 p.m., and, of course, on ESPN. You might as well just say most of these are on ESPN until you get to the biggies. BYU, Brigham Young sitting at 8-4, playing a tough Memphis team at 9-3. Let's take a look. Why not? I mean, that's what we're doing here, right?
Of course I'm right. You know that.
Okay, gritty and gangsters. Let's take a look at this one. Remember, this is the Miami Beach Bowl, not the Peach Bowl. Don't get those two confused. All right, Stewart for BYU. This guy can unload the ball. He's accurate. 22 touchdowns on the year, 2,200 yards passing. They don't run the ball a lot. When they do, we got Williams Mathis. He's the target, 840 yards catching. Memphis, let's take a look. Mr. Lynch, 18 touchdowns. These teams are pretty much equally matched. You know what? At the end of the program, I'm actually going to, and do it quickly, I'm going to run down all of my college bowl picks. And as you can tell, yes, I put a ton of thought into this. All right, this is a game I love, and this is a team I love. An underrated team. We're talking about Marshall, the Thundering Herd at 12-1. Now, if this team had strength of schedule, we'd see them up there in the top, maybe even the top 8, versus Northern Illinois, a giant killer at 11-2. I want to take a look at Marshall. This is why they're not even ranked. And they should be ranked, in my opinion. I don't know why they're not. We'll work on that. Come on, Condoleezza Rice. Get your shit together. All right, let's go down the list. Let's look at Marshall. Okay, in rushing yards, Marshall's going to run the ball down your throat, and they're going to score a lot. They rank 7th in the country rushing. They're averaging 275.5 yards rushing. 5th overall scoring. They average 45.1 per game. Okay, well, who do they play? Now, granted, there's some Rhode Islands in there, some Miami of Ohio's, Old Dominion. These aren't, I don't know. They're not your premier teams. They beat Rice, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech. They won that by three deals, by 3 points. What is a deal? So they're taking on Northern Illinois, okay, in the Boca Raton Bowl. All right. You can't beat the Boca Raton Bowl. You know you're going to get a little R&R down there. Northern Illinois. Okay, they got a tougher schedule, in my opinion. This is my opinion. But then again, they played Central Michigan and got a loss. That's a tough team. Miami of Ohio also. Eastern Michigan they played. They won that 28-17. Ball State. They whooped up on Ohio University. Not Ohio State. Ohio University. Big win over Kent State. UNLV they destroyed 48-34. Presbyterian, it's their biggest lopsided win. Then again, it's Presbyterian, 55-3. What I like about this team, they're also ranked 14th in rushing. If you like a game that's played smash mouth, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, you're going to get it with this particular one. And, of course, that kicks off the 22nd initial bowl game. And don't forget, it's the Miami Beach Bowl. All right. That was actually the Boca Raton Bowl. My bad. So many in that area. Second game, by the way, on December 23rd. We'll get this right yet. Why not? Preseason? Sure. All right, Navy, after coming off their 13th straight win against Army, I'm not going to comment on this. They're playing San Diego State. Let's move along. Both teams 7-5. No, I didn't say it. You know what I was going to say? I'm going to say, I love the military games. Nothing against Air Force and Navy. But being that I was in the Army, I simply have this to say. Seamen like to go down in subs. Let's move along. Central Michigan, Western Michigan, both at 7-5. Do you care? No. It's Popeye's Bahamas Bowl. You can't lose. Christmas Eve in the Bahamas, people. I don't know if it's in Nassau. You know what? Let's take a look at this. Why not? I wonder if they're going to be at Froggy's for the game. Central Michigan, 7-5. Do you care? Well, they do. They're in the ball game in the Bahamas. Their quarterback can throw the ball. Make no mistake, Mr. Rush. He throws the ball, not the band. 20 touchdowns, over 2,600 yards on the season. Rawls, 10 touchdowns rushing, over 1,000 yards. Davis, he's a good receiver, 9 yards catching. Western Kentucky, listen to this number. This is Doughty. Okay, Western Kentucky. This guy has thrown. He's 344 for 510 in passing. 4,344 yards passing. Here's the big number. 44 touchdowns. You heard that right, 44 touchdowns. You want an airborne attack, you're getting it in this one, people. Who does Western Kentucky play? Well, they got 5 losses, 7 wins. This guy's going to throw the ball all over the place. This is an impressive number for a team that's not in the top 10. 3rd overall in the country in passing. This guy launches 365 yards average per game, points for. They're averaging 44. This could be a little lopsided. I think I'm going to have to stick with, I'm going to give my picks at the end of the game. I don't want to ruin it, right? Anyway, you can't lose if you're in Nassau on Christmas Eve in the Bahamas. Does it really matter, the outcome? Well, Popeye says, eat your spinach. The Hawaii Bowl got Rice from Texas and Fresno State from Cal heading over there. These two teams are hooking up 7-5 for Rice, 6-7 for Fresno State Christmas Eve as well. And that's the Hawaii Bowl. Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. I don't remember this one. Maybe it's new. You know what? Probably not. 1 p.m. the day after Christmas. And don't forget Christmas Day, man. It's all about basketball. You know that. You'll see some good games, I guarantee you. I guarantee you'll like the way this suit fits. Illinois 6-6, Louisiana Tech 8-5. What more do I need to say? Moving right along. Big Ten rep Rutgers 7-5, taking on a depressing this year, in my opinion, 6-6 North Carolina. That's the day after Christmas. ESPN also in the Quick Lane Bowl. Hopefully the game will go quick. Moving right along, and this is the St. Peter's Bowl, Bitcoin State. Don't ask me. North Carolina State 7-5, taking on UCF. The UCF team's always a good team. It seems like a giant killer. It's just waiting to happen. So who's doing what? Well, not Biscuit. It's Brissett. He's thrown for 22 touchdowns for NC State, rushing Thornton, 811 yards, 9 touchdowns, receiving Haynes only 1 TD. UCF, Central Florida, these guys are good. 20 touchdowns for Holman. The guy's thrown for 26, almost 2,700 yards on the season. Standback, he can run the ball, 10 TDs. Perriman, he's got almost 1,000 yards and 9 TDs. It should be a good game. Worth watching, especially in comparison to some of the other games on that particular day. Now, don't forget, that's the Quick Lane Bowl. Rutgers better win that, show up for the Big Ten. And no, that was actually St. Peter. But do you care? All right, explain that. It's a military bowl. We got Cincinnati at 9-3 versus Virginia Tech, who spoiled Ohio State's perfect season this year. And, of course, that was the first game for the replacement for Braxton Miller, which was Mr. Barrett, who's now being replaced by the demigod 12-gauge for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I don't want to get into that yet because I'll start going nuts right away. All right, Cincinnati. Let's take a look at who they played real quick. It's a good team. It's a big team. 7-1 in their division, of course. 9-3 overall in the season. Virginia Tech, ACC. Passing yards, you know what? It doesn't matter. Here's the big claim to fame. Virginia Tech beat at the time, number 22, Ohio State, 50-28. Let's move along. All right. We can't live in the past, people. Since then, they've had a good winning streak going against. They beat Houston, Temple, Connecticut, East Carolina, Tulane, South Florida, SMU. I'm sorry, I don't see any other big games there. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I was talking about Virginia Tech, of course, not Cincinnati. Let's take a look at who the Bearcats, you figure that one out. I don't know if it's a mammal or not. They're ranked 71st in rushing, 13th in passing. Oh, boy. This looks ugly. They beat Toledo, but here's losses to Ohio State, 50-28. Memphis, 41-14. 55-34. Another loss to the Canes. All right, they played some bigger teams. They beat East Carolina, which is impressive because, well, they did it at home also. And they also beat Houston, and it was also at home. So, I don't know. I think Virginia Tech's got their work cut out for them against the Bearcats this season in the bowl game. And, of course, you get to watch it all. I think this one's on ESPN as well. Just leave it on ESPN, break your dial. You don't need anything else. No, that one's on ABC. Of course, made me look stupid. No, it's not. That's on ESPN. December 27th, 1 p.m. All right, the Hyundai Sun Bowl being played from Hanoi. No, it's not. Number 15, Arizona State. Blew their season, had a chance for the Big Shot boys, but didn't make it, playing Duke, surprising 9-3 this season. December 27th, let's take a look. Now, we know Arizona State's a good team. Duke's got a good record, but who did they play? That's what it matters. Let's take a look at Arizona. Well, we're not going to count Weber State. We're not going to count New Mexico, Colorado. UCLA, they did lose to 62-27. They did beat number 16 at the time, USC. They beat Stanford 26-10. They did beat Washington 24-10 at Washington. Here's a big one in overtime. They beat the Utes, Utah, of course, number 17 at the time, 19-16 overtime. They beat up on Notre Dame 55-31. They did lose to Oregon State, and they did lose to number 11 at the time, which was basically their last game, 42-35. That killed them on the season. Do you really care who Duke played? No. It's going to be a good game. Like I said, at the end of this particular broadcast, I'm going to give you my picks. Duke surprising at 9-3 in my opinion. All right, we're getting into the Duck Commander Independence Bowl. Watch out, ABC. The Canes taking on South Carolina. Both teams sitting at 6-6. Sort of shocking. Expected a lot more out of South Carolina, and the old bowl coach, I guess, is going to come back. Horrible season for the Gamecocks. Absolutely unforgivable in my opinion. But we can always say a rebuilding year. Let's take a look at how they got destroyed this year. Well, they started the season off with a loss to number 21 Texas A&M. Got beat up on. They did beat Georgia, barely 38-35, and it was at home. Beat Vandy, nobody cares. They lost to Missouri. They lost to Kentucky. That's a killer. Beat Furman. All right, here's a big loss. They got beat up on by Auburn. They lost to Tennessee in overtime. They lost to the Gators this year. That's embarrassing. Goodbye, Mushcamp. 23-20 in overtime. South Alabama, they beat. Number 21 Clemson ruined the rest of their season, 35-17. I don't know if this team can recover in a bowl game or not, and who knows. Let's take a look at Miami. What have they done this season? Who did they play, and are they worthy of my mention? Well, the only good number I see right here is a loss to Louisville by less than 50 points. They beat Florida A&M, number 24 Nebraska. They got beat by. They did. Now, here's a good one. They played Duke already, and they beat them 22-10. Georgia Tech, they lost to. Cincinnati, they won. Cincinnati still hating that game, 55-34. Virginia Tech, they beat 30-6. North Carolina, and then 3 consecutive losses to number 3 Florida State. Lost close, 30-26. Virginia, and they finished out the season by losing to Pittsburgh. They will run the ball down your throat. So, I don't know. This might be one of those coma bowls. I hate to say that because it could end up being a good game. You never know. It's like the NFL, any given Sunday, any given bowl game, I guess. That's your Duck Commander Independence Bowl on ABC, December 27th, 3:30 p.m. Moving right along, New Era Pine Stripe. You know, if I'm not going to say it right, I might as well just shoot myself. New Era Pinstripe Bowl, played in New York. New York on December 27, 4:30 p.m. on ESPN. Boston College versus Penn State. Could this be a good one? I think we're going to see a lot of running in this one. Ah, crap. Got to take a break, people. I kept verbating along. We'll finish this out. We'll be right back. Sports90 with your sports bandit, HTLA 2, baby.
Don't go away. Sports90 with Guy Shea will be back after these messages.
You have to realize a lot of kids don't know the responsibility they have. When they put on that uniform, they don't just represent themselves, the team, or even the school. They represent their community, this city. That uniform represents our pride, our belief in ourselves. When you suit up tonight, I want you to know that regardless if we win or lose, that the entire community is proud of you.
With the Gilberts. Okay, guys, are you ready to see your new kitchen? Let's go. Take a look. Oh, there we go. It looks amazing.
He didn't do anything. We just put Bud Light on the counter.
Exactly. It totally opens it up. We gave it a fun vibe. Clearly, this is a room people want to hang out in.
It's the sure sign of a good time. Just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
The landscapers are here. Nice.
The police often question him just because they find him interesting. His beard alone has experienced more than a lesser man's entire body. His blood smells like cologne. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty. thirsty, my friends.
In 2008, I quit venture capital to follow my passion for food. I saw a gap in the market for a fresh culinary brand and launched BehindTheBurner.com. We create and broadcast content and then distribute it across TV, the web, and via mobile. I even use the web to get paid. With AcceptPay from American Express Open, we now invoice advertisers and receive payments digitally. And I get paid on average 3 weeks faster. Booming is never looking for a check in the mail because it's already in my email.
Welcome back to Sports 90 with Guy Shea on HTLA Radio 2.
Welcome back. Your Sports Bandit, Sports 90, HTLA 2, New York. Blah! Let's get this going, man. We got to finish this. I thought I could do this in the middle segment, but I don't want to leave out some team. We're just getting to the good stuff, really. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Yeah, it was Miami, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Boston College. Here we go. New York City, December 27th, 4:30 p.m. on ESPN. Penn State, 6-6. Better than they've been in the past after that horrific meltdown with the old, I want to talk about it. Still depresses me. Being a Big Ten team, being a sports lover, too. I don't want to talk about Penn State's dirty laundry right now. All right, Boston College, 11 touchdowns by Murphy, 1,500 yards. This team likes to even it up. Murphy also runs the ball, 10 touchdowns. Expect a lot of the quarterback moving around for Boston College. In passing, Heckenberg, he's looking at, 8 touchdowns on the season, only 4 TDs by Lynch. But I'll tell you what, this team, it's one of those teams that find a way to will itself into a win, in my opinion. Maybe a good game. I don't know. Big Ten versus Boston College could be. Here's a team that's had a lot of attention this year. Nebraska, obviously their coach moving along. A great running team from the past, part of the Big Ten for the last couple of years, taking on number 24 USC. USC is a dangerous team. It's just been sort of iffy at 8-4 this season. Now, what are we going to look for in this game? Well, we're going to look for, obviously, a lot of scoring. 19 touchdowns by Armstrong for Nebraska. They run the ball. Abdullah, everybody's heard his name. 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns. Bell's the receiver to look out for. Kessler for USC. This guy will toss the ball at will. 3,505 yards passing, 36 touchdowns. Allen's the guy to look out for running. 9 touchdowns. They do have deep running back core, and Englor, 97 receptions, or 97, 1,200 yards, 11 TDs. This could be a good game. This is a worthy watch, I think. You got a Big Ten team taking on a Pac-10 team. This is going to be a good one. Keep your eye on it. This is really the first big game interesting me to watch so far in the postseason, in the bowl games. National University Holiday Bowl on ESPN, December 22nd or 7th at 8 p.m. Let's move along. Texas A&M, West Virginia. Who's going to win this game? Both teams sitting at 7-5. It's being played in Memphis, Tennessee. Talking about the Liberty Bowl. Lots of liberty going on in this bowl. 23 touchdowns for Hill. And, of course, this just reminds me of Johnny Football, so I'm going to move quickly on this one. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to start raging, and I don't want to. Hill, he can pass the ball, 23 TDs. Williams, the guy to run it. He's got only 474 yards rushing, but 6 TDs. This is all about the pass for Texas A&M. Reynolds, watch out. This guy's got 12 TDs, 700 yards receiving. West Virginia, quarterback's a good guy. Trickett's sitting at 18 TDs. He's thrown for over 3,200 yards passing. Shell, he can run the ball, 7 TDs. White, watch out. 102 receptions, 1,300 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. It should be an airborne attack. Quarterbacks are mobile. I'm looking forward to watching this one. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ESPN on the 29th. We're working our way to the big ones, kids. You know we're coming up on the playoff deals, but we got to work our way through it. Russell Athletic Bowl. Oklahoma versus a number 17 Clemson, ACC representative, 17 in the country, 9-3 versus Oklahoma the Sooners. It's sort of a disappointing season at 8-4. Really, we're never in the mix this year. They weren't expected to either. But we got a rushing team in Oklahoma. Now, we're talking about Perrin. This guy, 1,500 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns on the season. Knight can throw the ball, 14 touchdowns, over 2,100 yards passing. Receiving core, Shepard's the main guy, 50 receptions, almost 1,000, 5 TDs. Clemson, don't leave them out, but don't expect a lot of scoring. Here's the problem with Clemson. They will bore you to death and will themselves in a win. Passing stout, he's only got 6 TDs. Gallman, the main rusher, 4 touchdowns. And Williams, only 5 TDs. They do this with defense, too, people. Don't forget defense. Sort of like in baseball, a good pitching staff will always beat good hitters in bowl games in postseason, at least theoretically. We'll see, right? All right, got to move on. We're getting closer to the big-time games, and we got to, there's so many this year. All right, the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. Arkansas 6-6 versus Texas 6-6. Are they missing Brown at coach yet, the Longhorns? I don't know. That's the 29th, 9 p.m. ESPN. I'm not watching that one. Here's one I am interested in seeing, not so much as it would have been earlier in the season, but Notre Dame ending up at 7-5. Sort of a disappointing end of the season for them versus number 23 LSU. Notre Dame goes back to that questionable loss at Florida State. They had the game won, and then there was that tragic call, in my opinion. Let them play. Come on. Notre Dame, Golson can pass the ball. 3,500 yards, 29 TDs. His main receiver, Fuller, watch out, 14 TDs. LSU, they're going to run the ball on you. You got Fournette running the ball, 8 touchdowns. They can also throw the ball. Jennings has tossed 10 TDs. LSU will do it on defense. Notre Dame will try to outscore you. I'm looking forward to watching this particular ball game. You should, too. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, very, 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 very honorable team. They don't want to go down losing, especially after that tragedy at UC, at USC. All right, here's a team that's got a question mark on it, and it's 2 teams I happen to like playing each other. You got number 21 Louisville, and, of course, this is the past post-Bridgewater days, and you got the Dogs at number 13 of Georgia. They're playing in the Bulk Bowl December 30th, 6:30 p.m. Let's take a look at this one. This could be a good game, or it could be a dog, D-A-W-G. We'll see. Georgia at number 13. All right, let's take a look at Georgia. Molson, everybody knows, or Mason, this guy can pitch the ball. 20 touchdowns. They can rush the ball with Chubb. He's sitting at 12 TDs. Never forget Conley. He can catch the ball, 7 TDs. What about Louisville? Well, they like to spread it around. Gardner, he's got 12 TDs, 1,600 yards passing on the season. Radcliffe, he runs. He's had 125 carries, 11 touchdowns, only 648 yards rushing, though. Parker, 735 yards, catching the ball, 5 TDs. This could be a pretty good game. Both of these teams are prime teams. They're both ranked. We're getting into some of the, some of the meat, so to speak, of the particular games you want to watch in the bowl season. And that, of course, was, which bowl has it got? I'm getting bowl blind. That was the Belk Bowl on the 30th. ESPN 6:30. Foster's Farmers Bowl. I don't like the name. Maryland, Stanford, 7-5, both teams. I'm not excited about this one, so I'm going to move right along. Here's one I'm going to watch. And if you love football and you love drama, you're going to love Ole Miss at number 9 versus the defense of number 6, TCU. Both teams in the national playoff picture right till the end, especially TCU. I know their fans are still burned up about my Buckeyes jumping over them. Get over yourself. TCU, it's not just defense. Boykin can throw the ball. He's thrown it many times. In fact, 461, of which 279 were caught. 3,700 yards passing, 30 touchdowns on the season. His main target is Doxton with 9 TDs, almost 1,000 yards. What about Ole Miss, people? Don't leave him out. This kid Wallace, he's the real deal. 3,000 yards passing, 22 TDs. Yeah, they can run the ball, but you expect a lot of passing. This one was Sanders. Both teams got good D. Hashtag good D. TCU only 1 loss on the season, and, of course, it cost them their chance at the national title, and I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I'm a Buckeyes fan, and I'm going to get a lot of hate. Sort of like the hate I got when I said, you know what, Ohio State is going to put the whooping on Wisconsin. Now, I reminded Alabama fans that the not love I'm getting from Tide fans is exactly the same not love I got from Wisconsin fans. Keep that in mind. I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm being realistic with you. Don't hate me. I'm just the messenger. Boise State at 11-2. taking on number 10, Arizona. Boise State ranked 20th. Arizona's 10-3. Should be a good game. The Vizio Fiesta Ball on the 31st, of course. Excuse me. I think I ate too much Chuck E. Cheese. 4 p.m. on New Year's Eve. Capital One Orange Bowl. Here's a good one. Maybe. Georgia Tech, are they overrated? We'll find out. They're sitting at number 12 in the country at 10-3, taking on Mississippi State. Had it all there, and then they lost it with those 2 losses. We got the Tampa Bay Outback Ball, January 1st, our first New Year's Day game. Auburn at number 19 taking on Wisconsin. I don't know if they're going to get their head out of their shell after that whooping Ohio State gave them. Here's a great game if you like offense. Number 8, Michigan taking on number 5, Baylor, another team that's fans. Well, I got news. Look, Baylor, it's just simple. Your conference cost you 11-1, number 5, outside the box looking in, versus Michigan State, who got an Ohio State gift, too, for the holidays. Also on January 1st, getting into the big ones, Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. You know what? I could care less about this game, but I'm going to eat some chicken wings. Number 16, Missouri versus number 25, Big Ten rep, Minnesota. They got beat by Ohio State. Here we go. We're getting into the mix. This is the Rose Bowl game. This is also a playoff game, people. You ready for this one? Yeah, I know you're waiting on this one. They're going to call this a semifinal game, and it's all so-called the Rose Bowl. Ready? Number 2 Ducks at 12-1. We got to pick this one apart because I'm going to tell you who's going to win this in just a second.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child. Give. Advocate. Volunteer. Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
All right. Now, I absolutely know, and I will own this if I'm wrong. Make no mistake. We have number 2, the Oreo Ducks. The Oregon Ducks, quack, quack. This is the Rose Bowl, Pasadena. Everything's on the line. 12-1. Let's go right down the Oregon playlist of games this season. All right, before we do anything else, Oregon sitting at 11th overall in passing. 22nd. They're looking at rushing yards. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. Points for, they're averaging 46.3. That's 3rd in the nation. Points against, 22.5. They're not giving up a lot. Their defense isn't the best, but they can outscore you. All right, they beat Michigan State. I'm having the relevant games. They lost to Arizona, the only blemish on their entire season, and it wasn't close. It was 31-24, and they did play that at home. They beat number 18 UCLA. They beat Washington. They beat Stanford. They beat Utah at number 17 at the time. And a big win, 51-13, to finish the season back on December 5th. They knocked off number 7, Arizona. So here we go. We have to look at the opponent, Florida State. They have not lost a game. Now, this team, including by myself, have been criticized over and over and over again. Not just their strength of schedule, but does this team truly deserve the ranking they have just because they didn't lose a game? Let's take a look at the stat. I mean, the math's not going to lie here. They're 14th in passing. All right? Winston, he can throw the ball, but he's also going to get picked, as we've seen throughout the season. Rushing yards, they stink. They're only 134.8, 104th overall. Points for, they're averaging 34.8 points per game. They're giving up 23, so they're playing a lot of close games. Now let's look at the schedule. All wins, make no mistake, but it's wins against the Citadel, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Virginia, the Canes, Boston College, Florida Gators, and by the way, that was 24-19, and that questionable win against number 5, Notre Dame, at Tallahassee. I mean, I watched the game. At the time, both teams were undefeated. They won 31-27 on a iffy call, in my opinion. They did knock off Georgia Tech in the SEC championship game, 37-35. Typical game, 2-point. They find a way to win, no mistake. But is this enough? Well, I'm going to give my pick in this game now. I'm not even going to wait. The Oregon Ducks are absolutely, mark my words, and I'll own this if I'm wrong. I'm not going to be wrong. The Oregon Ducks are going to win this game by at least 3 touchdowns. Florida State has no business, at 13-0 even, being in this game. It's a joke. It's going to be exposed. You'll see it. I know. Lots of love from the Seminole fans. Here we go. The game that everybody wants to see. Ohio State can go ahead and get revenge on the SEC. They can get revenge on the rest of college football, making it to that beloved and inevitable number 4 spot. The Buckeyes taking on Bama. Both teams 1 loss. Bama is a machine. Make no mistake. If Ohio State, with their 3rd-team quarterback, can pull another game like they did against Wisconsin, which, by the way, mirrors Alabama very much so on offense, Ohio State's going to prove everybody wrong, and they're going to end up seeing Oregon Ducks for the national championship. And I'm not going to even talk about that until we get that far. Let's take a look at Bama. First of all, 22nd in the country in passing, 36th overall in rushing, 15th. They're averaging 31. Their defense will shut you down, only giving up 16.6 points per game average. So they're beating up on teams. They beat West Virginia to start the season. They beat Florida Atlantic. Nobody cares. They did beat Southern Miss. Florida, they destroyed. They didn't destroy, but they lost. The only loss, a blemish, was that Ole Miss game. Iconic game for Ole Miss. And you know what? It was a close one, too. 23-17. They got dominated on defense in that game. Since then, they haven't lost one. They've knocked off relevant teams like Texas A&M, LSU. Number 1 at the time, Mississippi State, 25-20. Auburn, 55-44. And they finished the season with the ACC or the SEC champ game. Missouri, goodbye, 42-13. It wasn't even close. Now let's talk about the opponent, the Buckeyes. But first, this.
Don't go away. Sports90 with Guy Shea will be back after these messages.
Audacious dreams, like making the world better through sport. Sport is our passion. Sport inspires hope, instills discipline, reduces depression and disease. It raises self-confidence, raises awareness, rallies communities, defines nations, defies gravity, and denies prejudice. Sport laughs in the face of racism. It flicks the towel on sexism's ass and kicks sand in the face of discrimination. It makes neck hair stand to attention. Hell, it's even been known to stop wars. That's a pretty impressive resume. Sport, you're hired. We won't rest until every living, breathing person on this planet has access to it. And we won't stop making the best gear to propel humanity forward, without wrecking our global playground in the process. We will do good with a vengeance. And to all the cynics and the naysayers, we're going to make the world better for you anyway. Because like sport, we don't discriminate. We've made the world better, but we still want a better world.
Police officer, it's my job to protect, but I'm not always going to be there. What are you going to do to protect yourself?
Here's an idea. Right now, when you make the decision to put personal protection above all else and buy a new pistol, you'll get a $40 Glick gift card that you can use on pistol accessories, holsters, ammo, laser sights. Choose any new pistol and get a $40 gift card. The time to own at least 2 pistols has never been more important. Glick Twins.
For 25 years, Glock has been the leader in innovation for pistols. For 25 years, Glock has been the #1 pistol choice for law enforcement. Glock continues to lead the way with innovative pistol design. Now comes a special gun to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Glock. Glock, 25 years of perfection.
Welcome back to Sports 90 with Guy Shea on HTLA Radio 2.
Let's take a look at, yes, I'm biased, but I'm also realistic. Let's take a look at my Ohio State Buckeyes. Obviously, Urban Meyer's the X Factor, 12 gauge, the new quarterback. He is all about winning. The guy looked like a pro against Wisconsin. I didn't see any nerves. Ohio State's only loss came to Virginia Tech in just an absolute shattering game. Barrett stepping in for the first time to take over for Braxton Miller. Actually, they played Navy before that and won. Anyway, going down relevant teams, they didn't play a lot of hard teams until they got to Michigan State on the road. They knocked them off 49-37 in a thriller. They took care of Minnesota at Minnesota 31-24. Michigan, of course, no problem there, 42-28, and a 59-zip. That's what got them in there. Those 2 wins, that one win against Michigan State while they were at 8 and destroying Wisconsin, sorry, Cheeseheads, 59-zip with your third-team quarterback. It brings us to that number 4 ranking. And, I'm going to be biased on this just a little bit, but realistic, just like I was. And I'm telling you, the Tide's a great team. This is going to be a close game. It's going to come down to defense. And Ohio State, their backfield this year has been criticized. Don't even mention the linebackers. These guys are great. That defensive line and the speed tempo, Ohio State's going to run a hurry-up offense the entire game. Alabama's going to have to run the ball. And if Ohio State plays the run, which I expect they will do, they're going to line everybody up in the box. This is going to be a Wisconsin-type game if Alabama can't pass. If they can, expect a close one. I'm calling this Buckeyes by 3 and an absolute thriller, a nail-biter till the end of the game. And Buckeyes move on to play the Oregon Ducks for the crown, the national championship. All the crybabies can complain after that, but that's just the way it is. And if you're going to cry, you know what? Complain to the new college spinning heads and yakking people up there, the big shots, Condoleezza Rice and the rest of the ancient mummies. You know what? Tell them, look, why not have an 8-game playoff system? Makes sense? That way all the realistic teams that should be there can play each other, whittle it down to the top 2, and quit your complaining. Okay, now let's finish off the rest of the bowl games. Of course, this all takes us to January 12th in Arlington, Texas. The college football national championship game presented by AT&T, January 12th, 2015. It's for all the cookies. 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. God, ESPN owns everything. And, of course, remember, ESPN, and I'm not trying to be a jerk-off saying this, but ESPN owns the SEC network. I mean, think about this. Who do you think they want to win? All right, that aside, we also have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Houston versus Pittsburgh. We got a 7-5 versus 6-6. Pittsburgh, if you want to watch a lot of running versus passing, there's your game. You have Pittsburgh running game, just run, smash mouth running ball. Houston, they're going to launch it. Big Ten, Iowa taking on SEC, Tennessee. That's in the Tax Slayer Bowl. I don't like the name, but anyway, January 2nd, we have the Alamo Bowl, Kansas State. These are 2 ranked teams. It's a good game. 11 K-State, of course, and number 14 UCLA. A team that looked good at the beginning of the season. You got Washington taking on Oklahoma State, 8-5 or 6-6, and the Ticket City Cactus Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama. East Carolina versus, without Muschamp, mind you, the Florida Gators at 6-5. That's all going to change. And the Go Daddy Bowl. Never leave that out. Toledo versus Arkansas State. That's on January 4th. And then we have to have that dreaded week of waiting where I expect to see, and I truly believe in what I'm saying. You can throw out the lines. Last time I looked, I believe, what was it? Oregon was a 9-point favorite over Florida State. Now, I agree with that. I think it's bigger than that. And Ohio State is a 9.5-point underdog. Now, you can throw that out. The Wisconsin game, Ohio State was what, a 4-point underdog? 59 to zip. Not trying to rub it in, Big Ten. But I expect to see Oregon at number 2 versus number 4, Ohio State, for all the cookies. And I'm going to wait till we get closer to give my pick on that. I'm going to try real hard not to be biased, but that's your bowl games. Now I'm going to give you all my picks. I'm going to run through them. I'm not going to give you the spreads. You can go look them up. If you want to go to VegasInsider.com, check them out. They got all the Vegas current spreads. Or you can, I'm going to do this shout out because I love the show. These are my dogs. We're talking about Sports Better TV. You can check them out on Yahoo, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. They're everywhere. Twitter. They have a great place to check out. I want to give a shout out. They're my dogs. And also Doug Stewart. And the reason I'm shouting out Doug Stewart is because he tolerates your sports bandit being in his chat rooms. I know that sounds horrible, but it's tough sometimes. And I want to remind Doug Stewart in his program, don't forget that hashtag Buckeyes Love after Ohio State beats Bama. That's right. You're getting your Buckeyes jersey sent to you via Christmas elves. Anyway, we'll be right back. I'm going to run through all of my, real quick, boom, 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 picks for every bowl game. Write them down. Record it, hashtag it, whatever. Let's see if I can be perfect this season. Probability is Zippo, but we're going to do it anyway. Get your scratch off your crayon, whatever you got to do. Make sure you listen to this because I'm going to rub it in your face later. So and feel free to go to our Facebook site, Twitter, whatever, and give your picks. I like the abrasive attitude of our fans. It's good. That's what sports is about, competition. And speaking of that, get your fat kids off the couch, man. Seriously. Come on, Fatso, get out there and do something. There's all kinds of programs.
Don't worry. 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
All right, kids, let's blast through these. And by the way, you can join us. And next year, we'll actually put the SPORTS90 at ESPN's contest. I love playing these things. Anyway, right now it's still under What the I Believe. I don't know. You can check it out. I'll put a link somewhere so you can find it. These are my picks. Feel free to play against me and lose. All right, we're going to go right down this, and we need the appropriate carnival music playing for this. All right, here we go. Right in order. I'm going to name the bowl game and my pick. Forget the lines. Here we go. New Orleans Bowl. We got Nevada taking on Louisiana Lafayette. Put that check mark on LLL. Something like that. Yeah, Louisiana. Utah State, the New Mexico Bowl. Check it. They're going to be at the University of Texas, El Paso. Here we go, Las Vegas Bowl. We got the Utah Utes. Where's my check mark? Sorry, I wimped out and gave it to Colorado State. Looks like I'm flip-flopping. Let's go to the next one. We got Western Michigan. You'd think I'd give them the check, but no. Watch out. Air Force gets it from me this year. Next up, South Alabama Jaguars losing to Bowling Green. You heard me right. And we continue. Miami Beach, Brigham Young, give them the check over the Memphis Tigers. Boca Raton. Looks like Marshall, the Thundering Herd, beats out the Northern Illinois Illini. Continue on. Poinsettia Bowl. Is it Navy? Nope. It's San Diego State. They have a Navy base there, right? Bahamas, we're talking about, Mr. Froggy's there. Western K, no way they're going to lose to Central Michigan. Hawaii, Fresno State wins it all. Goodbye, Rice, Aroni. And we in the heart of Dallas, it's the Illini. Oh, good God. Let's just say the Fighting Illini. Yep. They're beating Louisiana Tech. Bulldogs, sorry, guys. Quick lane balls. Rutgers, Big Ten, not going to happen. North Carolina comes back and wins that game in a close one. St. Petersburg, North Carolina State give them the check over Central Florida in the Military Bowl. Is it the Bearcats? Nope. Virginia Tech wins another big game finally. In the Sun Bowl on CBS, Arizona State, check it. Goodbye, Duke. Good season, though. In the Independence Bowl, the Canes take out South Carolina. The old ball coach might have to take a cut in his paycheck. In the Pinstripe Bowl, BC knocks out Penn State, Nittany Lions. Sorry, kitty cats, maybe next year. In the Holiday Bowl, Nebraska under a new coach doesn't do it. USC, it's all about the Trojans running attack. Liberty Bowl, Texas A&M airborne over West Virginia's running quarterback. In the Russell Athletic Bowl, the Sooners don't win. Sorry, Clemson's a higher-ranked team for a reason. Check it. In the Texas Bowl, Arkansas, it's all about the Hogs beating out the Longhorns. Makes me hungry. Ham and cheese versus steak. Notre Dame, can they beat LSU? No. Defense is too tough. Notre Dame's not going to recover after that USC loss. Louisville knocking off Georgia. Sorry, dogs, no hashes in between the hedges there. Stanford knocks off Maryland. Ole Miss takes care of TCU's defense. Boise State can't beat Arizona. They're just not good enough. Mississippi State ends on a positive note, knocking off Georgia Tech. Isn't this over? No. Let's continue. I see Auburn. Are they going to knock off Wisconsin? Wisconsin's still in their turtle mode. Michigan State, check them. They beat Baylor. There's a reason you didn't get that number 5 spot. We got Missouri winning a game finally against Minnesota. The Ducks take care of Florida State. There's your loss on the season. Buckeyes knock off the SEC's love nest for ESPN. Bama, sorry, Tide, you're out. Houston, get the check mark over the running Pittsburgh team. Iowa, not good enough to beat the Volunteers. K-State, too bad it's UCLA's running game. Oklahoma State takes care of Washington. East Carolina, always the bridesmaid, knocks off Florida without Muschamp. Toledo takes care of Arizona State. And this is my college football national championship game. Oregon Ducks versus Ohio State. I'm not going to tell you who wins that one until the next show. Come on, man. There's got to be some dramatics here. That takes care of your college picks, and I'm going to give you exactly what you want. More sports! All right, this gives me a chance to mouth off on something. It's just been irritating me forever. And you can check this out also on ESPN.com. Pacquiao fans have waited too long. It's entitled, if you want to go over and read the whole thing. And I got to give my insight in this. We're talking about Merriweather and his undefeated record, so to speak. Now, it's not so, it is undefeated, but he's managed to avoid Pacquiao in Pac-Man, the Filipino monster, the one guy that could ruin his career and give him that loss. He seemed to avoid this guy now. Pacquiao's going to be 36 years old this week. All right. Now, the guy, his record, he's had a few losses. We're talking about welterweight title. He's moving to, 57, 5-2, 38 knockouts. Merriweather at 37. And look, we're going to have a Social Security match here. Merriweather, and, the excuse was, and I don't buy into this, the excuse was he didn't want to share that millions and millions of dollars. All right, come on, Merriweather. He's 47-0, 26 knockouts, but he has absolutely, in my opinion, avoided this fight. Now, these guys are going to be senior citizens. Make no mistake, they're both dangerous fighters. But my thing on this is Merriweather's decided to wait until he thought Pacquiao was too old to fight him. And no matter how this turns out, that's always going to be the stigma with Merriweather. I mean, forget the money, forget the titles, forget the perfect, flawless record. You avoided Pacquiao until this age. This fight has to happen. If it doesn't, you're going to have that inevitable asterisk that nobody wants on their record. The guy that avoided the contender. I mean, that's what it's going to amount to. Come on, Merriweather. Seriously, man. Let's do this fight. This isn't about money. This one's about pride. This one's about who is the man, who's avoiding who. Pacquiao, he's lost fights before, but he wants you, and so does the boxing world. Step up. Muhammad Ali wouldn't wave this one away. George Foreman would say, bring it on. Do the right thing. If you want to scream no mas, scream it now. But you're always going to have that asterisk. Come on, Merriweather, let's see this. This would be the fight of the century. Merriweather's perfect record versus the Pac-Man. I want to see this one, and the boxing world should demand it. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about Major League Baseball in the midst of, really, the college football season. You got NBA just absolutely heating up, college hoops on the way, March Madness not that far around the corner. Now, look, I know February we get the pitchers and catchers start reporting to the farm leagues to get ready for the inevitable Grapefruit League and the Cactus League. But there's some major deals going down. You got to take note if you're a sports fan, period. Let's take a look real quick at some of the major deals going on. Obviously, everyone's talking about the guilty plea set and smuggling of the Dodgers plug. I don't know. How about some of these big deals going on? Well, I don't know. Looks like there's a lawsuit, according to Plaza, looking to recover his $11.2 million. The Yanks signed Headley to a 4-year deal. Royals outfielder Rios inks a 1-year deal. Cubs signed. Now the Cubs, and I want to say this too, because being a Browns fan, a Cleveland sports fan, people have been born and died over the last 100 years that have not seen a Cubs World Series win. So that's sort of pathetic. Anyway, they signed Mota to a 1-year deal. Nationals outfielder Harper, he agrees. Shortstop Lowry, the Astros, they reach a 3-year agreement. Lester, a transition to winning. He's going to be playing for the Cubs. That's exciting. Brewers to honor Seelig with a stadium exhibit. There's some quick updates on your baseball, MLB style. I don't want to get too heavy into it because right now we got to concentrate on the other sports that are actually going on right now. I want to take a couple of minutes real quick, too, to also, it gets neglected until their national championship games. So I'm talking about women's basketball, college style. Look, there's a lot of good teams. This is good basketball. Real quick, top 10 rankings. South Carolina sitting at 9-0. They're on top. Connecticut, they're at 6-1, usually a perennial team to win. Texas, they're at number 3. Texas A&M undefeated at number 4. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, 10-1. North Carolina, 9-0. Here we have Stanford, already 2 losses for the women's league at 6-2. Kentucky 10-1, just like Big Brothers. Baylor at 8-1. Louisville sitting at 8-1. That's your top 10 in women's college athletics basketball. Don't forget to check out the games. There's good ones. There's always on TV. You can check out ESPN for the games. Don't forget, you got Oregon State taking on number 6 North Carolina on ESPN 3. That's, in fact, tonight, I believe. Yep, Tuesday, December 16th, 6 p.m. You can watch that. Also, Elkhorn State at Michigan State. Check them out. Why not? Big games. It's great entertainment. It's also athletics. Don't forget, some of these women play just as good as men in college basketball. You may not agree with me. You don't have to. Just watch it and like it.
Powered by Procast.
Don't go away. Sports90 with Guy Shea will be back after these messages.
Great game, right? So you're probably expecting me to crash a car or blow something up. But really, I'm here to talk about car safety. Look around you. Who do you see? Friends, family, neighbors, all your loved ones, everyone you care about. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to give each and every one of them a hug. I'll wait. Thank you. Those people you just hugged, they're real. They're not crash test dummies. They're not engineering data. And their safety matters as much to Honda as it matters to you. And it's why Honda builds more top safety rated cars in America than any other brand. You can let go now, Fred. That's a great hug.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hi. I've got to get a stick for my nephew. Do you know anything about hockey?
Yeah, a little.
Good, because he's really particular.
I like this one.
Crosby. Is he any good?
Not bad.
Do you have any other suggestions?
Sidney Crosby and Sport Check. What a team.
At Sports Authority, we have all the name brands you love, like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, and the North Face. We carry fitness equipment, camping, bikes, golf, and more. We offer a rewards program, The League, which earns you 5% back. And we'll match prices with our ad price match promise. So why do we do it? Because we love sports just as much as you do. All the best brands, all the best value. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
Welcome back to Sports 90 with Guy Shea on HTLA Radio 2.
Come on, sports bandits, not just football. Well, I got news. I had to get through the ball games, people. I didn't forget about NBA, National Basketball Association. Let's take a look real quick. We're going to bust this down. Toronto's still on top of the Eastern Conference, 19-6. Right behind them, we got Washington, Atlanta, Chicago. Still a half game on top of the Cavs, but Cleveland, no problem yesterday. LeBron James, they just destroyed Charlotte. Did you expect less? Number 6, Milwaukee. Miami's in it, of course. Not looking real good with their loss yesterday, 3-7 the last 12. Brooklyn at number 8. And then everybody else. Western Conference, it's all about Golden State. 16 in a row, man. Is this going to stop? They're 21-2. This can't keep happening, right? Memphis at 19-4. They're all about 4-game win streak. Houston 18-5. Portland's up there. L.A. Clippers looking good at 8-2 in the last 10. Don't forget the Spurs 17-8. Dallas in there at 17-8, 7-3 in the last 10. And New Orleans rounding out the top 8. They're sitting at 11-12. 4-6 though. Lost 1 in the last 10. Now what about the Lakers? Well, they're 5-5 in the last 10. 8-17. Who's the big ugly? Right now, the Timberwolves. Good Lord. 5-18. They've lost 2 in a row. Who else is hot? Well, it's not Phoenix. They've lost 6. Oklahoma City Spurs coming back. They've won 6. Still not in the top 8, but it's not over yet. Still early in the season. Who else is streaking? Memphis won 4. And lost 4. Philadelphia. Get out of there. Seriously. I don't even want to talk about Philadelphia after loss in the NFL. Oh, come on, the Cowboys of all people. We got more sports to do. It's not over yet, people. How about that soccer on ice? That's right, I'm talking about you puckheads. NHL style, what's going on? Who's doing what? What are the standings right now? Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference. Detroit Red Wings sitting at 17-7, all by themselves on top, right behind Tampa Bay, Montreal. They're in it in the Metropolitan. The Penguins on top, 20 wins, 6 losses behind them, but they got 10 losses. New York Islanders, Washington still in it. Don't forget the Rangers also in the Western Conference. It's all about Chicago, 21-9. Watch out. St. Louis is hanging in there. So is Nashville. Going down to the Pacific, Anaheim, Vancouver, they're fighting it out. Not really. There's a big lead, 21-6 to 18-10 right now. Anaheim's all over the Pacific. And what do you got to say about that? Well, it's soccer on ice, except they get to check people. That's not fair. There's more to hockey than that. Right, Puckers? Hey, what about men's hoops, college hoops, college hoops? Give me a break, man. We only got 90 minutes. Let's jump into it. Let's go down, see what's happening. I love it. My Buckeyes in the top 12. Kentucky, 11-0. They're at number 1, Duke. Yeah, Blue Devils never out of it at 8-0. Arizona 10-0, sitting at 3. Louisville, Got to watch out, Cards. 9-0, they're sitting at 4. Number 5, Big Ten rep, Wisconsin, always a problem for the Buckeyes, 10-1. Virginia, they're at 9-0 at number 6. Number 7's Nova. Big game coming up pretty soon against the Orange, by the way. 10-zip. They're at 7. Zagna, no longer the Giant Killer. They're a Giant, 9-1. Texas, 8-1. Kansas, not State, at 8-1 at number 10. Wichita State, 7-1. Ohio State Buckeyes, 1 loss on the season. They're sitting at 12. Iowa State, Utah, Oklahoma, Washington, Maryland, Miami of Florida, San Diego State, maybe not the Pretenders. St. John's at 8-1. Notre Dame sitting at 21. And 10-1 on the season. West Virginia, they're in it at 9-1. Butler, the Bulldogs, at 8-2. North Carolina, ever remember them being at 24-6-3? I don't. Michigan State having a rough season. They're sitting at number 25, rounding out the top 25 at 7-3. Big games coming up. I don't have time for everything because my mouth's been running in overtime on football. But let's take a look real quick what's coming up. As far as tonight, well, nothing I want to see. Look, quick. We're running out of time, people. Find me something they want to see. How about Wednesday, December 27th? I know there's a big one coming up. How about North Carolina? Who? North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina A&T. At Ohio State, Big Ten went work. Don't we have any big games? I thought we had a big one. I saw that Cuse game coming up. Eastern Michigan at Michigan State also. Jumping ahead to Thursday, December 18th real quick. I'm trying to run it overtime. You got UConn at Duke, number 2. Cleveland State, hey, don't leave them out. That's a Giant Killer at number 6, Virginia. You got to love that one. Also on ESPN. I'm trying to talk fast. Number 3, Arizona at UTEP. Move along. We don't have time for this. Let's get to Saturday, people. Boom. Here we go. UCLA at number 1, Kentucky. North Carolina at Ohio State. I thought I already gave you that one. That's on Saturday. Maybe I'm repeating myself. I don't know. UCLA at number 1, Kentucky on CBS. Move along. I want to see some ranked teams playing each other. How about Sunday? I'm watching football. Get out of here. Got Maryland at Oklahoma State, and you got Harvard, the smart kids at Virginia. And moving along to Monday. Yes. Show me that game I want to see. Kansas at Temple. Miami of Ohio at Ohio State. Quit talking about the Buckeyes, guy. Come on. Loyola Marymount at Wichita State. There's good ones. Check it out for yourself. You know what I'm talking about. I got to get out of here. And I want you to remember something, people. This show means absolutely nothing without you, the listener. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Open your window. You might hear me screaming loud enough out the window. Come on, Browns. Johnny Coma. Get real. Prove yourself, son. NFL, don't forget, not for long. Until next time, this is your Sports Bandit, HTL Radio 2. And we'd like to thank Tim Hortons, of course, New York City, and the HTLA family. And once again, most importantly of all, you, the sports fans, play ball!